Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh?
Yo, 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 what the fuck is out there? Everybody out there on the YouTube social, your boy Papa Tikyo, coming to you live from the Japan land. How you guys doing? I'm doing alright. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Tokyo. It's 5 a.m. right now. And to quote a wise man who once said such wise words, you know me, I'm just straight up chilling and shit. Yeah. So that's how I'm doing today. How are all you sexy people who, all like 200 of you who listen to this a podcast stream of consciousness? How are you guys doing today? I can't complain. I'm doing good. I'm healthy. My all my appendages work. My vision and hearing is fine. I'm breathing okay. Fuck. I woke up at 3:40ish today. Which I would give myself shit for, but recently I only get like 6 hours of sleep. I don't know about you guys, but like if I get if I get 8 hours of sleep, it's usually really weird because I'll wake up and I'll take a piss or something, then I'll go back to bed. And like for the past 2 weeks or something, maybe longer, it's like whenever I try to get 8 hours of sleep, I'll sleep for that extra 2 hours, but I'll have a dream where it's like really unfulfilling, like I'll be like chasing some skirt, trying to fuck this hot chick or something, and then I'm finally, after what feels like ages in the dream, like I'm finally at her house, I'm slipping on the condom, we're about to do it, and then all of a sudden, I wake up and I'm like, no, I am unfulfilled, why, it's like dreams like that happen more often than not. And so, waking up only after 6 hours of sleep, I don't feel super rested, but at least I don't wake up with that, like, unfulfilled feeling, you know what I mean? So, it's good. It's good. I feel good. But, I went to bed around 9 yesterday. And, guys, by the way, I mean, the title already will probably say something similar to whatever the fuck. You already understand what's going on before you even see the title, right? But, before you even watch the video. But, yeah, this is just a random stream of consciousness. I just wanted to talk, just about random stuff that's in my head right now, because it's been about maybe 2 or 3 weeks since I made a rant. I've been making motorcycle rants, but it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I made an at-home, legit sounding motorcycle, at-home rant. And it's partially because when I do these rants at home, I usually like to listen to music, and I don't know why. I mean, I bet I could chat GPT and look up the reason why, but for some reason, when you're recording audio in Premiere, it gives you an echo back of your own voice. And if you're using speakers, that means it just basically quadruples the sound. It's really annoying. And so you have to mute your whole system if you want to be able to record. Or I guess maybe plug in some headphones or something. But then you got to do 3 extra steps to change the audio settings, including inside Premiere. It's such a pain in the ass, so usually I just mute the whole system, and then I use my phone to play some music in the background, so I have some, some rhythm, some beat to go along with, But today, what is it? It's like, today it's already 5:40 while I'm recording this. And usually I don't record these until later on, but it's only because I want to use my phone, and I can't use my phone in the morning because Pokemon Sleep. I use this app called Pokemon Sleep to track my sleeping, and for the most part, it does a good enough job. But it's like depending on the update, it's broken. So you can trick your phone into thinking that you got 8 hours of sleep. As long as you don't open up another app to take away the memory from Pokemon Sleep. I don't know if you guys have ever like played a video game or something on your phone, but if you start watching YouTube videos or something, it resets that app, probably because it doesn't have enough memory to keep both of those things going. And so same thing with Pokemon Sleep. If you open up any kind of YouTube app or any kind of like audio recording or music playing, it basically turns off the recording for... I mean, of course it makes sense though, right? Because it's like, if you're asleep, why would you be watching YouTube? Yeah. Yada, 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 yada. And so, but then I realized today that, like, I have a fucking tablet that's always on right next to me that usually I use as, like, a webcam to look into Shinjuku to see how the weather is before I go outside. And so I was like, wait, you know, because I never listened to the audio on there. I was like, wait, I could just put on, like, a City Pop mix or whatever and just turn up the audio. And that's like, hey, so there we go. We found out a new way to do the thing today. Yay. What? And now I've got this long play of Metal Gear Solid Acid playing on my other monitor, because it's one of those games that I always wanted to play, but like I'm not gonna play it, but I still want to see what it looks like, so I have that playing in the background. And then I have this live stream on my PS4 playing called it's by this guy called Armchair Traveler, and it's 24-hour Japan live stream. And this guy just takes about 15 to 25 plus live streams around Japan. And like every 20 to 30 seconds, he like changes it. And so like you get to see all these different views of Japan. And right now, like the sun came up about an hour ago, but now it's really starting to come up. And I don't know about you guys, but I really like waking up when the sun comes up, especially like 10 or 20 minutes before the sun comes up. There's just something special about feeling like, haha, I got up right before everybody else got up. I got up before like the day started. It's not like some Mark Wahlberg shit where like he wakes up at like 3:30 or something and then goes to bed at 7 and he's just working out all day. Like I don't think that's that's too much of a strict schedule. But yeah, you know, this is whatever. Anyway, it's a little bit late into the video, but let me just shout out the people who deserve the shout outs. Let me do some self promo. Thank you everybody who always goes over to patreon.com/TKOSam. Even if it's $1 or if it's you know, a couple $100, I always appreciate it, guys. It feels like recently that a lot of people, a lot more people, or maybe a lot less people than they used to go over to Patreon have been going over there. I hope it's just like a little dip in time right now, and it will come back up, because you know, Patreon, one of the reasons why I chose Patreon is because they're legit. You know, they've always paid out on time. You know, they've got brand recognition, so everybody knows what Patreon is. And I know that YouTube offers the same things that Patreon offers now. Like, they have a merch shop, they have special memberships, so you can watch special content made there. But I like that I keep all my eggs not in one basket, you know? Patreon content, I mean, I've uploaded so much Patreon content over the next couple years that it's just going to be released every month. Like a blog, behind the scenes footage, Japanese lessons. I'm really proud of it too, you know? Like, I took a long time to prepare all that stuff. Like, I remember I took all of December in 2024. I just dedicated all that time to, before I got sick, for that one at the end of the year. I dedicated all this time to making all this Patreon content so I wouldn't have to work on it for a while, except for, like, updating you guys on there. And at the same time, I also got a bunch of manga and like a shit ton of manga, and I spent a good couple live streams taping up, like putting them all into envelopes and taping them up, and now I've got like a whole shoe closet full of Patreon packages that I just, you know, I make the invoices for people, and then you know, on the computer, and then before I go out to the post office, I'll just grab, like, okay, how many packages do I need? I just grab them all from the shoe closet. And don't worry, there's no shoes in the shoe closet. It's just packages, so it doesn't smell like feet or anything. But yeah, I just grab those and I send it out, and I don't know, it feels good. It feels good. And then also, like, you know, messaging you guys and seeing where you guys are at in your journey. And then also on the Patreon, like on the Discord side of things, I really love the fact that we've got like this updated glossary just content for you guys, you know. And it's not content for the sake of like content. It's like there to be like, look, guys, it is that simple of just, you know, super immersion, super passive immersion while doing these flashcards. It's really that simple. And I really love it that I feel like the Patreon community that we have on Discord, there's not many people. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that join, but there's not that many people that participate. But I love the fact that, like, the resources are there, though. So if people have questions, there are people there that will answer those questions. If they had questions about anything regarding immersion, it's there, you know. Like, they've got, like, especially when it comes to, like, just, you know, audio, video immersion, and then, like, all this extra stuff that Kat's never thought of for ADVJapan, or maybe he thought of it, but he never made content out of it, or, like, he never made, like, advice or whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, for example, what physical tools should you use, how to become a translator, how to become an interpreter. Like, it's all there, you know, and I'm constantly updating it every month. So it feels great that I have, like, this resource for you guys to basically just go there and absorb, because, you know, I could be a slimy salesman about this and be like a Japanese eikaiwa you know, system, and try to stretch this out for as long as possible to keep you guys like my Japanese students like, you know, enrolled forever kind of thing. But nah, like, my goal is that you guys get so much heavy stuff from me within the first year or whatever, that you guys can go independent after that. You don't need me. You can stay if you want to be part of the community, but you don't need it anymore, you know, like, because you've gotten everything that you need to build that foundation for growing your Japanese tree. And I like the fact that it's just like, you know, so many people come to Japan and they have this, what do you call it, like, you know, not expectation, but like their reality or their way of understanding is that it's very hard to learn Japanese. Japanese is a very hard language. It's super Asian. Nobody will ever understand what to do, kind of thing. And I like that the whole point of ADVJapan, the whole point of the Japanese lessons that I have in the Discord community is to help you feel less intimidated by that. To be like, oh no, like, other people can do this. This isn't something special. Okay, I feel like I can do this. I can do that. You know, I really like that. You know, like, I like that we can break that intimidation wall out of the way, so you guys can feel free to walk through and experience Japanese, because there's nothing better for Japan than foreigners that come to Japan that know Japanese, that can talk to people. You know, that's how Japan is going to be more international. And, you know, for a while I've been like, I don't want Japan to be international. I don't want Japanese people to learn English. You know, I want Japan to stay Japanese. But at the same time, if Japan's going to survive, they need to be able to compete in the global market, right? And the way to do that, the best way to do that, is to understand foreigners, understand the outside world. And so the more foreigners that come here that not only learn to speak Japanese and understand the Japanese world, the more Japanese people will feel less intimidated by foreigners in the foreign world. You know, so it's like, it's a good move for everybody, right? And I like that I'm contributing to that, and even if it's just a little bit, you know. And that's what's on my Patreon, you know. Like, it gives you extra content, but also it helps you learn Japanese. And yeah, so that's good. Anities ma'am. Yeah, so big shout out to everybody who goes over to Patreon. I highly recommend sign up for the Japanese lessons, guys. You get a package in the mail from me. I used to do candy, but it's just you know, candy is like why send you guys candy or snacks? You could go buy those anywhere else, you know. It's like a waste of postage. Like, let me send you a book. So if you're a patron, if you sign up for the Japanese lessons for a year, by the end of the year you're gonna have like at least 12 books that are Japanese, you know. And then, like, you can order your own after that, or you can stay on the Patreon thing and you'll still get a Japanese book every month. It's fucking cool, right? You know, like, build up that library. I have a viewer of mine who's been he's been on the Japanese tier for like 5+ years now. He's awesome. I've never talked to him, but you know, and I've sent him messages. But yeah, he probably has, goddamn, you know, like, what is that, 12 times 5, you know? he's definitely got at least like 60 plus, if not probably 70 plus. I don't know, like it's been, because there's been times where, especially during Corona, where people didn't get their package, and if you didn't get your package for whatever reason, I'll just send you another one, you know. Like it's no skin off my back, you know, to like fucking go the extra mile for you guys for that stuff. So anyway, big shout out to you guys, and then also just a big shout out to you guys who became members and who have dropped super chats up until now. I had one of you guys message me the other day or leave a comment or something during one of my community posts, and you asked, like, can I turn off the ads or something, or not turn off the ads, can I enable background play for my videos? And I was like, you can do that if you're a YouTube Premium member, not my member, but a YouTube Premium member. But I've never heard about doing that as a YouTuber. And so I had to, like, and this guy was like a member, right? So like I was like, okay, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and you know, I'll trust that what he's saying is real. But then I googled it, and it's like there's no such thing. Like you can't be a YouTuber and enable background play. At least from what Google and ChatGPT told me, like no, you have to be like a YouTube Premium member. But the cool thing is that when you have that, that's for everything, and you know, so it's like I'm a YouTube Premium member. I've you know, ever since YouTube Premium came out, there was like about a year that I wasn't using it because ad blockers still worked fine. But then Cobra Kai came out, and I was just like, oh yeah, okay. And then I paid for the first season of Cobra Kai. I paid for each episode individually. It was like $3. And then I was like, motherfucker, like, this is back when YouTube was actually making TV shows. And so I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to sign up for YouTube Premium. And then I didn't even look into YouTube Premium aside from, like, I could watch TV shows as much as I wanted, like Netflix. And then it turns out, oh yeah, you can put your phone on lock mode and you can still listen to the video in the background. Okay, you don't get any ads as well. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Okay. And it's like, well, why don't you just jailbreak your phone, and like that way you could use like the broken YouTube app or whatever, you know. So, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care, you know. I'm not gonna brick my phone just because I want to be cheap and not pay $14 a month. My friend back home in America, he makes $6 grand a month, and he was complaining to me about how ad blocker doesn't work on YouTube. And I was like, you make $6 grand a month, just pay the $14, you fucking idiot. But anyway, point is that I respect and I thank you guys for everybody who signs up for a membership and super chats. And speaking of somebody who's a badass who super chats a lot, here we go. Big shout out to this big bald motherfucker. Thank you, my good sir, for being so big, hard in the peanuts. And yeah, guys, remember, even if you don't want to spend money, you cheap fucks, then just help me out by smashing the like button and leaving a comment. I guess the comment of the day is, or the question of the day is, why are you gay? No, I don't know. Have you listened to any good music recently? I don't know. Like, you know, I'm not going to say when I'm recording this, but you guys will be able to tell when I recorded it by the stuff I want to talk about. Speaking of music, you guys hear that new Kanye song? Oh my god. You know, it's so funny. Like, I love the fact that Kanye made that new song, Heil Hitler. And it's not because of the ideology of Hitler or anything like that. It's just, I love the fact that people are getting triggered by the song, and the fact that it's like, it's a good quality, like high production value song. Like, the beat is fucking amazing. It's hypnotic. It's like a virus that just sticks in you. You know, like, God, that song is just like, when the fucking beat drops, boom, 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 and then just having black dudes in unison wearing, like, fucking, that music video is just nuts. They have the black dudes in the dark blue light, and they're all just screaming Heil Hitler. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I love the video. I love the music for the fact that it pisses off people. Like, one, it pisses off white, like the white nationalists, like the white supremacists, because they're like, no, black people can't love Hitler. They're ruining Hitler. So it's like, okay, so the people that are actually white supremacists that like hate everybody just for the sake of hating them for their skin color, those guys are pissed off. And then the people that are hyper liberal are like, no, like, you know, like, oh my god, like, this is enabling people loving Hitler, blah 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 blah. And and it's pissing them off too. So it's just like I don't know, just seeing both sides of the extreme being so pissed off, and Kanye's just like, I don't care anymore. I mean, when you think about it, it's like everybody who was ever really big or famous, you know, they wanted to do something that pisses off everybody, and like this is kind of like the final stage of being an artist, right? Is like pushing the limits of offensiveness as much as possible. And it's like I don't know, it's funny because it's like I you know, I'm not anti-Semitic. I grew up around Jewish people. I don't think that there's like a big conspiracy about the Jews running the world. I think that it's just simply that the Jews they stick together, you know. Like the whole, like, I saw that meme where it's like, my son has been expelled 109 times, but it's not because of his fault, it's because of the people that he went to school with or something. And it's like, yeah, I get what you guys are saying about the Jews or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, nah, like, Jewish communities, at least, like, you know, in America, for all, that's the only one I know, it's like, they really emphasize community, they emphasize tradition. I like the fact that their religion doesn't pander. They don't try to get new people in. Like, you actually have to go out of your way to join them, you know. They're not like Scientologists, they're not like Mormons, they're not like Jehovah's Witnesses. They want you to, like, you know, like they're not gonna ever bother you to come join them, you know. And they really emphasize, you know, learning about money, learning how the economy works. You know, they're more business owners than you know, like, working for other people, you know. And I don't know, it's just like for me, it's like, you know, people would say like that shit is like, well, like, again, the extremists on Twitter, so they're like, well, they're parasites, you know, they run the porn industry, you know, and they exploit women, and then they, you know, they run the music industry, and they exploit like you know, the actual people who are talented that make the music, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, so you're angry at them because they got in to those industries and they were really good at, you know, at running those industries and like making them successful. And while they did that, they probably screwed over some people. Is what you're angry about? Yeah. Well, okay. But I mean, if you flip the coin, like, who else? You know, if they weren't doing it, someone else would be doing it. You know. And so, like, you'd still be getting angry. There's always going to be a certain group of people that run shit, you know? Like, that's just the way. It doesn't matter if it's Jewish or whatever. That's always going to be the way the world works, you know? Like, you might not like it, but it's like, people get angry about the diversity shit or whatever, and it's like, well, you're not going to have diversity when it comes to, like, owning, like, some of the 1% of this shit either. There's always some groups out there, but I don't think it's like a collected Bill Gates style effort. It's just like, no, when you educate your kids early on and teach them about money and give them the, you know, the, what do you call it, like the solidified community. And like, I don't know about Islam or like Christianity, but it's just like, well, I don't know if they emphasize like money and business ownership and you know, whatever. But it's just, it's so funny because I was watching a what was I watching? Oh yeah, I was watching like Uncut Gems, like a couple clips of that yesterday. And I was like, there's like one scene where Adam Sandler's character, he's like going to, I don't know if he was in a synagogue or something, but he's Jewish and he's with a bunch of other Jewish people. And it made me think, I'm like, you know, I've had like Jehovah's Witnesses come to my house. I've had Mormons come to my house. I've had Japanese cult people come to my house. Excuse me. And, you know, but like, I was like, you know, I don't think I've ever met any Jewish people that are practicing Jews in Japan. Like, I've met people of Jewish descent, but I've never met people who are like, oh yeah, you know, like this is the thing. And so you know, I was like, okay. And so like I googled like Jewish synagogue Tokyo, and I found 3. I looked into one, and I mean, it makes sense because it's in a really nice area of Tokyo. It looked like it was kind of like Nakameguro-y kind of area. Like, you can always tell these what part of area of Tokyo it is by how clean the streets are, what color the streets are. Like, if it's in a rich area, they usually have like the bike paths are green or whatever, the sidewalks are green or red, and the buildings look really nice. And it's just funny because the building, like the synagogue, looked like it was very immaculate. They had like it's just everything's nice and clean. And it's funny. Like the rabbi is like he's a guy who, from what I could tell, from what they said on the website, like he had come to Japan to teach English, but he had done like a bunch of Jewish stuff. Like, you know, like his like degree was in Jewish history. He had done like internship at like other places or whatever, like synagogues or something. I think he'd been to Israel for a little bit. But I'm like, okay, so the guy just taught English, and then he came to Japan. Okay, gotcha. And, or what is it? He came to Japan, taught English, and now he works as a rabbi. Okay. You know, it's about those connections, right? But, and the guy looks young. I mean, like, he looked around my age, like mid-30s kind of thing. And, but yeah, I was just like, I was curious. I was like, okay, well, this is a pretty small place, and there's not many synagogues, so, like, they must charge you, like, some money or something, right? Because, like, they need money to run the place. And, of course, then I go on there, and it's, like, membership fee. And I'm like, what? And I can't remember if it was monthly or if it's per year, but it was, like, $200 for, like, an adult. And then they had cheaper prices depending on how young you are. But that just meant that, like, you have to pay for your children to be part of the synagogue, too. And I was like, whatever happened to the whole community thing, you know? It's like, yeah, we're part of the community, but you guys should be so good off, like, should be so well off of money that this shouldn't be an issue to you. And, like, you have to, like, apply, too. Like, you have to apply, and, like, they'll, like, do, like, a background check on you to see how Jewish you are, and if you're, like, a right fit, you know, economic status, what is that, like, financially, you know, like, they'll see if you're a good fit for the place, or basically they're saying, like, unless you're rich and you have some good connections, like, they don't want you. Like, they'll turn you away. It's kind of like private schools, right? Like, everything, like, everybody always thinks, like, oh, private schools, if you have good test scores, you can join the private school. That's not that big a deal. And it's like, no. Like, they would rather have somebody with bad test scores that has, quote-unquote, good lineage, or, you know, a family with good economic standing and status versus, some poor kid that has good test scores, you know. That's why a majority of these private schools are filled up with rich people, you know. Like, fuck, like, one of my students, her mom owns a business in Japan, and it's pretty lucrative. Like, a lot of people know about it, but she's not, like, super big compared to, like, a Bill Gates thing or whatever. But, you know, my student, I mean, like, you know, I love her. She's a smart cookie when she wants to be. But when it comes to, like, standardized tests, she's not. Let's just say that, like, her mom's money went a far way of her getting in there. And also, too, that her mom, thanks to her business, she knew somebody who was an alumni of that school. And that's, like, you know, it's about connections and stuff, too. So it's not just about what you know, it's about who you know, but also that, like, you know, you need to get your foot in the door so then you can start networking and figuring out, like, who it is that you gotta rub elbows with, you know, because it's always about, like, getting it in. If you're just some guy that came off the street but you have money and stuff, they're like, yeah, but where's your, well, you know, like, are you a Lannister kind of thing, you know? Hold on, let me get some coffee. Oh, caffeinum. It's almost as good as the cocaine. Yeah, they, I don't know. It's just, it was just interesting because, like, I don't know if, like, you know, like, what is it? Like, whenever I think of a church, I think of, like, Oriental Pearl's wedding video when she, like, got married in this place that just, it's like a church with just, like, no ceiling. It's just, like, a huge fucking building. And I'm like, okay, that's a pretty, like, you know, because I've done, like, a job or two at a church in, like, Roppongi or whatever, and it was, like, a nice little small kind of, like, log cabin, small congregation church. But, you know, I think of, like, when I think of religion, it's like they want you to join, and then maybe they'll ask for money. But it's, like, just straight up being like, yeah, we know we're the only one here. But, and we know that you're part of the religion, but, like, can you pay? You know? And, I don't know. It's just, it's funny. It's just funny to me. And the funny thing is, too, is that, like, a lot more Jewish guys than Jewish women come to Japan. And if you're going to have kids, you're only technically Jewish if your mom's Jewish, because she's the, you know, I forgot why. What's the reason behind that? But yeah, anyway, it's just like I grew up, semi around Jewish people, or at least my mom's friends growing up were all Jewish. So like I'm very comfortable around Jewish people, and I know about, I don't know, I feel like I know a little bit more about like the way their ways, their goings or whatever than somebody who's never been around them. And so that's why I don't have a prejudice against them versus other people. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was funny how it's like you have to apply, like it's a VIP membership club, something, you know. We don't want any riffraff Jew coming in here. We want the good Jews. It's like, okay. But anyway, I don't know. That was just like a funny observation I had because related to that, I was watching. What's his name? The JapanChannel.com. Hey guys, it's me, JapanChannel.com, and I'm here to say, you know, Australia's fucking, it's king, mate. What is it, like, JapanChannel.com's run by this Aussie guy. He was like one of the first Japan YouTube channels where he would just drive around in his car and talk about cultural observations he had being an Aussie dad. I think he used to be a cop in Australia, and then he met his wife, and they moved to Japan. And I don't know what he did after that. I'm assuming he taught English or something. But he moved to the countryside, and he raised his kids. And, God, I mean, it's been almost 20 years, so I'm guessing his kids are all grown up, because he was still talking about his kids when he first started his YouTube channel. So I'm guessing they're in high school or college now. Shit. But he was talking about in his video how they're... You know, because they're in the countryside, it's very community-oriented, and that's good, though, because you're less likely to rob your neighbor if you know who your neighbor is. And I can agree with that. You know, I can understand, I can get behind that, that way of thinking, right? And so, but he was saying how maybe, not every month, but on occasion, like, I'm guessing once every couple months, there's people that come by your house and they collect fees. And for me, I'm always like, don't rock the boat, you know? Like, you're a guest in this country, just go along with it, you know? Like, people are going to love you so much when they know that you're not going to put up, when you're not going to chimp out, pretty much. And chimping out, I don't mean that for only black people, I mean that for everybody. It's just like when you're having an emotional response for something small and petty, you know? And wasting people's time because you're insecure and you've got a lot of energy, pent-up rage or whatever, right? And but in the video, he was talking about how for the festivals, sometimes there will be people that go around the houses, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to do a festival soon, and the government doesn't pay for that, so we're trying to collect money from everybody. We just need $30 from you. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll pay it. And when I've lived in apartments except for one time for 5 years when so far when I've been in Japan, and I lived in a house near Ikebukuro, and I didn't own it, but I rented it. And yeah, like I was part of the Chonaikai, which is I don't even know what you call it, the town committee. I asked them, like, do I need to attend meetings or something? And they're like, no, like, you don't have to. And it was just like a place where the old guys that were in the town, like the grandfathers or whatever, would hang out and shit, right? But they would come by at least once or twice, maybe not once or twice a month, definitely at least once a month, and they would give you a clipboard, and you had to sign it to say that you saw the newsletter, and then you put the clipboard in your neighbor's post box or whatever for them to sign. And then, like, every 3 weeks, they would give me the net for the trash, and I'd have to go out and put the net outside because we didn't have a dumpster. I don't know why they don't have dumpsters here. I mean, obviously, it's a space issue, but you're not going to get crows. You're not going to get rats if you have, like, I don't have one for my current apartment, but when I was walking around Kabukicho, I saw these, like, these... I mean, they're not huge, but they're like giant metal boxes with the top on it, and the top is like it's like a lid that you can lift up with a handle, and like you can just drop your grocery bags in there, and there's like mesh wiring or something, so it doesn't just stink up the place or whatever. And I was like, why don't they just have those? everywhere. You know, if they can have it in Kabukicho where like space is really limited and expensive, why can't they have that in suburbs, like suburban places too? Why did I just have to use a net? And you know, like I'll admit I wasn't a saint all the time though. I mean, like there would be times where I would use black trash bags, and they didn't like you using black trash bags because then the garbage men can't see inside them to see if you're throwing away stuff you're not allowed to throw away. But, you know, it wasn't that I was trying to say fuck you to people, but it's just that, like, look, like, I separated the trash always, but there were times where, like, I accidentally bought trash, like, black trash bags, and I was like, well, fuck, I want to use these before, you know, like, what's the point? Like, I paid for these, right? And so, like, they can open it up and see, and they probably did at some point to see that I was separating the trash, but, yeah, I mean, like, the whole point is, like, it's so easy to be a team player here. Why not? But the Japan channel guy, he was complaining about how he had to spend $30 to fund the festivals, right? But the thing is that, like, he was, I mean, like, his complaints were valid, though, because he's like, why am I paying, okay, if these guys are going to, like, 1,000 houses or whatever, right? Or, like, let's say even, yeah, like, oh, let's just round it up, like 1,000 houses or something, right? That's like 30 times 1,000, that's $3,000, right? So why are you spending so much money or whatever, right? To like go, like, what's the big deal here? What are you doing? You know, like what, like you go to the festival and there's a couple food stalls, there's maybe some decorations. You rented a couple, you know, like you had people set up that, like the stage area. Maybe you rented some musical instruments. You paid some traditional group or something maybe to come there, but most of the time they didn't pay these guys. So he's like, what are you spending all this money on, you know? Like, what are you spending all this cash on? Like, I don't get it. What are you doing? And so, and he's like, oh yeah, well, he's like, I know that these old guys, they have meetings about the festival, and they have a bunch of meetings, and so they'll buy just cheap bentos and beer, and then they'll sit down and quote-unquote have a meet. And basically what he was saying is that they're embezzling the funds or whatever to basically just hang out old boy style, you know, and just enjoy their, get paid to hang out pretty much. And he's like, this is bullshit. And he's like, there's no place where you can check the accounting to see what exactly they spend the money on. And, you know, that's the thing, though. It's like, if you are in Japan and you're following all these rules, but then you're like, look, I could not pay this, and then you guys would be angry at me, so I'll just pay it. But, I don't know, man, because it's like, part of me is like, yeah, you shouldn't rock the boat, but at the same time, it's like, well, do you guys have accounting? I want to see how you're spending this money. Like, I'm not going to say specifics here, but I had a friend who had, who ran a business, and, he had his friend's mom as an assistant, and she would, like, because basically she was like a part-time worker, like a government worker, but then she had a lot of free time in between that job, so she would go and be an assistant for my buddy and like their company, right? And so he would, like, you know, they would be like, oh, we need office supplies, we need this, and we need that. And my buddy wasn't, like, a super money-savvy guy, but, like, his business was really good. And so I remember going over to his place, and she was like, I'm going to go to the office place. Do you guys need anything or whatever? Like, it was, like, Office Max or one of the fucking office supply places in America or whatever. And I remember being like, yeah, I need something. I forgot what I needed. And she's like, okay, just give me $20. And I'm like, well, that's probably going to be $10. And she's like, well, it's going to be 20. And I was like, well, am I going to get a receipt with this afterwards? And she got like super offended. And she's like, what? Why do I need to give you a receipt? Can't you just trust me? And I was like, well, if it's a business, don't you need to keep track of the receipts? So, like, for invoices and stuff? Like, you know, I was a young dude, and even I knew that. And then, like, my buddy heard that, and he didn't react. He didn't say anything. And I was just like, look, like, I'm a young dude. Like, this is a lot of money to me. Like, it might not be a lot of money to you, but it's a lot of money to me. So it's like, you know, and so she's like, yeah, just took my money and then, you know, went and got the thing. And anyway, like a couple months later, like my friend fired her because he found out that she had been stealing from him this whole time. And like, you know, if I had seen my friend more often, I would have told him to like be careful about that. But like, since I hadn't seen him that often, I thought that he had his shit under control, because like obviously if he's around all these other people, they would have told him by now, right? Like none of his friends fucking told him this shit. And so yeah, I feel like if I'm in the countryside and I want to do this, like I want to be a ball player or whatever too, it's like I don't mind playing, like, you know, like whatever. You should be making like, it's kind of like the YouTube Premium, right? You should be making enough money every month that $14 isn't a big deal, you know? Like, if I have to pay $30 so you can go get drunk with your friends, so you're not gonna fucking bully or harass me, like as long as it stays at $30 a month, that's a small price to pay. But if you're a guy who's not making that much money or whatever, because like, you know, it's kind of like, oh God, I don't know, man. I mean, I want to say Texas, right? But even Texas is getting flooded with Muslims, and they tried to pass a bill the other day so that you can't post memes on the internet, and if you do, you can get a fine. You don't get fined anymore. It used to be you get a fine, but now they want to throw you in jail for up to a year. And I'm like, Texas is supposed to be the Lone Star State, you know? They wanted to branch out, you know, branch away from America and be their own fucking country, you know? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, this is the oil capital of the oil company capital of America. Like, how are you being overrun? Like, I get it, right? Like, there's so many like, obviously, it's like, what, liberals are like a virus, right? They go in to California with their ideals, and then they put these unrealistic expectations and regulations on everything, and then they ruin it, and then they blame everybody else, and then they move on to another place, and then they ruin it too, right? And so, like, I know that, like, a lot of people in Texas were, like, wary of people moving there because they saw what they did to California, and so they called them transplants, right? Like, oh, you're a transplant. You came from there, and now you want to ruin it here, too. And so, like, of course the locals are weary. So you want to play along. You want to be like, oh, no, man, I love my truck. I love my diesel. I love shooting guns, and, you know, and I love Jesus Christ, you know. Like, even if you don't believe all that, you play along just because you want them to know that you're cool and you're not going to fuck with them, you know. You got to put people at ease. And, but, yeah, it's just like these dudes, man. It's just like, yeah, in the Japanese countryside, they had this, it reminds me of a video I saw called Iju Shipai, which means like moving mistake, I guess you could call that, or like, you know, relocating mistake. And it was about these people during COVID who could work remotely, and they did the thing that a lot of Americans do, where like they bought like some land somewhere in the countryside, and they put up a really nice house, and they're like taking advantage of like the cheap taxes, and you know, like the food and everything being cheaper, and they love the countryside and the fresh air, but they don't try to assimilate, you know. They don't do any of the community meetings. You know, they don't pay for like, they don't do the trash thing like with the nets, like I said I did. And like, they don't really care, because they're like, well, I pay taxes. The tax system should like hire somebody to do this. Why am I having to do this separately? This is just like, I understand traditions, but I'm a busy guy. I make a lot of money. Can't I just pay somebody else to do this for me? And like, I know that you guys want to know me and stuff, but like, I've got my own shit going on, and I don't really care about that. And like, apparently this, I mean, I don't know how often this happened, but it happened often enough that they made a couple TV fucking specials about it, where like the locals were just like, fuck these people, and then they basically did what they could to drive them out. Like they stopped, they would collect trash for everybody except that family, so then trash would just accumulate next to them, and then like animals would come in and open up that, and then like trash would go everywhere and shit. And you know, like the kids got bullied at school. You know, people would slash tires. It was just shit like that to harass them, to be like, we don't like your kind around here. And so it's like, you know, they say in Japanese, goe ni haire to goe ni shitagai, or something. Like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And it's like, yeah, man, I mean, like, you know, like, when you're in the city, you don't need to, like, what is it? You don't need to, try as hard. Like I've got like I have a brand new neighbor that's next door to me. He didn't even come over to say hi, you know. I was like, motherfucker. Like when I moved in here, like to be honest, I haven't talked to my neighbors that much. I've been in this apartment for like what, almost over 3 years now or whatever, and you know, it's like at least when I first moved in here, I did my normal typical thing, which is you're supposed to give a gift, but of course I'm a foreigner, and people were afraid that like you know that I'm gonna pull a certain demographic in America. When they open up the door, I'm going to come in and rob them or something. I mean, it's you know, it's a I'm not offended by people with that logic, because I would feel the same way in America. But so instead, what I did was like I just I got a bag. I got a couple like shopping bags, and I just got some Coca-Cola. I got like Coca-Cola bottles. At the old place I did Coca-Cola cans, but in this one I just went to the 100 yen shop, bought a bunch of like I bought a thing of Q-tips and Coca-Cola, and then I wrote down like a hand note saying like, my name's Sam, I'm from America, you know, you might see me, I'm the big fat guy with blonde hair, you know, don't worry, I speak Japanese, I separate the trash, I'm not going to be noisy. I just want you to know that, like, if you see me, like, you don't need to be scared, and that if you want to talk to me, I speak Japanese or whatever, like, you know, like, but here's my gift. Because, like, in Japan, that's the way you break the ice. It's, like, by giving a gift. And a lot of people are just cheapskates, and they're like, why do I need to buy gifts? And it's like, look, dude, like, if I need to spend $10 or whatever for, like, just as like an icebreaker for like to make things go smoothly with my neighbors, I will. Because again, like, if you go and you meet your neighbors, they're way less likely to fuck with you because they know who you are then. Like, people are like like, what is it? The ignorance, fear is fueled by ignorance, right? And so if they know, like, again, like, you smile, you speak Japanese, you're like, hi, what's up, you know, and yeah, I mean, like, there's not a single person that doesn't like Coca-Cola, and even if they don't like Coca-Cola, everybody uses Q-tips, right? Or a towel or whatever, right? So, but usually when people give towels away as gifts, they're just like little hand towel washcloths that, I don't know, Japanese people don't really do the whole washcloth thing here. So, you know, at least with the Q-tips, I know they'll use them. But, I mean, the whole point is just like, you know, they have a way of doing things here, and yeah, but in the city, they did. Nobody, like, you know, just because I did it doesn't mean other people do it. And like the guy next door to me, he didn't do that. You know, he didn't say hi to anybody here. And so, but in the countryside, it's like they're gonna notice you. Like, even if you're not a foreigner, they're gonna notice. Especially if it's a really small town, especially if it's your neighborhood. So, even though it's a pain in the ass, like, you got to go out of your way to protect the wall. You know, protect the safety, right? And I mean, like, that's what America used to be, right? Like, we used to have communities, we used to have third places where people could go to after work and like events to get to know your neighbors and stuff and have a sense of community. And now it's just everything's separated, you know, and it's sad. But yeah, I mean, like, if you start off on the right foot, it's going to be a lot easier to, I don't know. If you start off on the right foot, but then somebody's an asshole, then at least you know that you were in the right, you know? Like, I remember one of my neighbors, I've told this story before, but like, when it was a snow day, I used to live on this small street that nobody would go down. It was literally like maybe 20, 30 meters long or something. It was very small. And so, like, nobody would really use that road. And it snowed really heavily one day in Tokyo at night, and we built a snowman, and I left it up overnight because I thought, like, there was so much snow on the ground that a truck or a car couldn't go through. It was like a really tight street. And so, like, in the morning I get woken up, my neighbor had come into my house and like shook me, and she's like, hey, you know, there's a snowman outside, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, why are you in my house? And like, because, you know, it's Japan. I was used to keeping the door unlocked. She had come into my house, she had shook me awake, and I was like, what? And she's like, this is a snowman. I'm like, do you have proof it was me? Because, like, again, I didn't mind owning up to it, but just the fact that, like, she blamed me automatically, when, like, which is fine. Okay, right. Like, you know, the foreigners are the only... Everything's been cool up until then, and the foreigners move in and blah, blah, blah. But, it's like, it was snowy. No cars were going to use that. Like, they're not going to use that fucking street. By the time cars could actually go through that street, all of that stuff would have been melted anyway. So of course, all these neighbors started gathering around the snowman, and they're like, we need to set up security cameras so we could catch who did this next time. And they called the cops and everything too. And the woman who came into my house, she blamed me. But, like, again, like, she wasn't a direct, like, this guy did it, fuck him. She was like, well, officer, I mean, he is a foreigner, and he, I sometimes see him doing things, like walking and stuff. And, yeah, and so the cop was like, he took me aside, and I was like, officer, she came into my house. Like, she was trespassing. The snowman, I don't know who put it up, but I can help take it down. Like, it's not that big a deal. And the officer's like, look, I don't care. You're that fat guy who always goes to McDonald's across the street from the police box, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, dude, I've seen you all the time. Like, you got a motorcycle. I have a motorcycle, too. What kind of motorcycle is that? I'm like, oh, it's a Yamaha. And he's like, oh, dude, that's what. And I was like, officer, am I in trouble or anything? And he's like, nah, dude. Like, he's like, we get calls like this from old ladies like that all the time. Like, it's fine. Like, I just had to come out here as a formality. And I was like, so I'm not in trouble. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, could I get her in trouble for trespassing? He's like, you could. Do you want to? And I was like, nah, it's okay. It's fine. But then the Chonaikai, the guy of the town hall, had come out. And I used to go on walks. I used to go for walks to get to know my area. And so I saw him one day when he had a Japanese flag poached outside, or what do you call it? Like, it was perched outside his house. And I asked him, I was like, why don't Japanese people do this more? And he's like, well, we only do this on holidays or whatever. And I had like a good 10-minute discussion with him. And like, he was like, oh, where do you live? And I'm like, oh, I'm down the street, like I'm right there. And so they had called him too to come to discuss the snowman. And he's like, yeah, that bitch is Maruyama. Nobody likes her. Like, he's like, we've gotten complaints from everybody about her. She's just a nosy old bitch who stays home and, like, spies on people. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. It's fine. Like, 気にしない方がいいよ. 大丈夫だよ. 大したもんじゃない. And I was like, okay, yeah, thanks, old guy. And so, yeah, what ended up happening was, like, I got angry and I was like, like, she's like, oh my god, like, like, this is the end of the world stuff. Like, oh no, my daughter's dating a black man? Oh, like, just totally freaking out old bitch shit. And I was like, I went up to the snowman, I just kicked it over, and I'm like, look, how hard is this? I was like, you called the cops, you called the town, I don't even know what you call it, the Chonai Kaicho, like, you called, like, the town hall president, all these neighbors came here. I was like, you made such a big deal about this when you could have just taken down the snowman. I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you, なんでみんながそんなになんか集める必要あったの？この雪だるまはそんなに問題だったら、すぐになんか片付けることはできたんじゃない？なんでわざわざこんなに大騒ぎしてんだよ？ she's like, yeah, あなたのせいでこんなになっちゃった。And I'm like, yeah, anyway, she's like, it's all your fault. And I was like, you trespassed in my house. Like, you came into my house without my permission. I don't know you. And I was like, I should press charges against you. She's like, oh my god. Oh, I need to go inside. My heart. And then, like, all the other old women are like, yeah, you should go rest, Miss Maruyama. You should go rest. It's so hard, And anyway, it was just funny. It was okay. But, anyway, yeah, that's just, like, a funny story how it's like, look, I did things the right way, except the one time I decided to have fun, I caused problems, like, because, like, for all I know, maybe there was somebody, like, nobody had a car on my street, so again, like, nobody would have, like, I wouldn't have built that snowman if somebody was pulling out of their garage kind of thing, like, nobody owned a car on that street, I'm not that much of an asshole, but it's like, in Japan, the snow usually melts the next day, right, and so, this was before, like, any trucks or anything could go through the street or something. And, anyway, it was just something stupid, but because I had been nice to everybody else, they picked on her. They took my side over the Japanese person's side, so, it's not like a popularity contest, it's just like, when you know that you've done nice things, and you've had good interactions with people, you don't have to worry about them turning on you when you're in the right, I guess is what I'm saying. And so, like, with that guy with the festival thing or whatever, it's like, you don't need to worry too much, like, pay your dues, and if you want to make a big deal about it, make a big deal about it, and be like, look, you guys don't keep any accounting for any of this. You know, like you could be like, I went to like all these places, I saw how much you paid. Like, if you're gonna start a fight, really start a fight. You know, get down there with the bare knuckles, get some brass knuckles too. You know, fuck this shit up. But anyway, yeah, and it is ma'am. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. We're at the 54-minute point of this rant, and it's already 6:30, which is nice. Yeah, you know, I'm watching this fat guy called Smooth Funky. They should call it Chunky. Smooth Funky City Pop on vinyl. Clásicos de MPB with Bobby Ganoush. He's this big fat ginger guy. He's like one of those fat guys who like he wears like a t-shirt and a hat, but he's like 30. You know, I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like if you're gonna be fat, you at least should wear like some masculine clothing, you know, like let your hair down. Well, he's probably balding, that's why. But you know, you put the baseball cap on backwards, wear a V-neck T-shirt at least or something, you know. It's like, come on, dude. You're like Homer Simpson with the moo-moo. If you can look good and still be fat, you know. But anyway, this guy's like, well, you know, he's a DJ. He wears whatever he wants. It's so funny when you see these DJ setups. It's like I've got plants, I've got speakers, I've got a humidifier. It's like I don't know what's going on here, man. I don't know. It's like everything's so bland and retarded. You know, like bring it back to old school stuff. Have some random stuff. Get some lava lamps in there. Get some of those bubble lamps from Spencer's Gifts. You know, get some fucking neon light tape or whatever. You know. They get some black furniture. I don't know. There's ways to spice it up, but it just looks so bland. But it's like, well, we're listening to good music and it's vinyl. I'm like, yeah, you got no style. You got no class, baby. Why am I picking on this guy? You know? Yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's just stupid and it's retarded. Oh, yeah, Kung Fury 2. Somebody leaked the footage. Apparently, they made a Kung Fury 2 a while ago. But because it got stuck in release limbo, or the company wouldn't release it, it's been on the shelf, even though they could have released it up until now. And so, and yeah, somebody leaked it. They leaked the footage, and part of me thinks it's the creator that did that. But you know, he put out a thing being like, look, like, you know, they're showing off parts of the story that's basically giving away the story, and on top of that, the visual editing doesn't look that good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The visual editing looks fine, and you did the same thing with the first movie. So I'm guessing he leaked it on purpose to get people angry about it, to want to see it. Kind of like what Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool, you know. But hopefully that works. Hopefully we get a Kung Fury 2, and yeah, you know, it's been an interesting time, you know, recently. Like last, goddamn, dude, like fucking. Well, anyway, I could get into this, but we only got 2 minutes left of this rant. So, tell me, what did you guys think of my story? Do you think you should just, you know, go with the flow and not question shit, or should you push back? And if you do push back, how much pushback should you do? I wanted to go on a whole like spiel about how, you know, I'm back on my healthy spiral, you know, like, or healthy spiral, my healthy routine. You know, I was doing for a while, like, you know, during the week, I have nothing but vegetables and fruits, and like garlic and chili and stuff to flush out my system. And then, like, you know, I'll save bread or whatever, like bagels or tacos, which are my go-to thing. Like, I'll save those for the evening, and they'll be like really, really light snacks, or they'll be during the weekend where I get some like actual fast food like Wendy's or something. But anyway, it's just like for a whole week I was just eating tacos and shit. And but yesterday I got back on the routine, and I had my very super garlic chili stir fry noodles. I love it. You fill up the whole fucking frying pan. It's brimming. It's brimming. It barely has any room in there. And then you just stuff all those in there. You put it on low heat, and you leave it for 30 minutes. And you just let all those vegetables just shrink. All the water from them goes out, and it creates steam in there to cook all the food, and the chili and the garlic mix just blends of everything. You don't need pepper. You don't need salt. It's just, there you go. It's all there. and then you just eat that with 2 packs of natto, and you're gonna be shitting your guts out. It's awesome. Get some oranges before then. Have some fruit. Have some apples in the morning. Anyway, and then just load yourself up with coffee and green tea and water, and just the cleanse is happening. The cleanse is nice. Anyway, yeah, guys, we'll probably do a live stream after this too, so I'll be dropping the link there. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to leave a comment. I love your faces. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, buddy.